Sup, you beautiful bastards. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome back to the DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing we're gonna jump into today is our brand new game show, What the did he just say? Starring today's contestant, Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino, of course, a very famous director, and he's in the news today for two reasons. The first one involves him doing an interview with Howard Stern some years back now, and he says this.
Look, okay, I don't believe that's rape. I believe it's against the law.
Right.
All right?
I believe it's rape.
I don't believe it's rape. I mean, that is not for these.
Oh, my.
Really?
What is that?
So time to play the game. Did Tarantino say A, I don't believe it's rape, not at 38, not for these fame-seeking blobs? B, I don't believe it's rape, not at 18, not for these predatory model girls? Or C, I don't believe it's rape, not at 13, not for these 13-year-old party girls? And here is your answer.
Look, okay, I don't believe that's rape. I believe it's against the law.
Right.
All right?
I believe it's rape.
I don't believe it's rape. I mean, not at 13. Not for these 13-year-old party girls out there.
Oh, my.
Really?
13-year-old party girls. What is that?
Now, if you're wondering why Tarantino said this, he was defending Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski, of course, the director that gave a 13-year-old girl alcohol, pills, had sex with her. Long story short, he gets convicted, had to flee the United States. And as far as why Tarantino is saying this wasn't rape, he argued this point.
He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape.
Yeah,
all right?
All right.
Well,
That's not quite the same thing, all
come
right?
on.
Enough said. It's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not rape. To me, when you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throw, throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around.
Wait a second.
More
When
than
you
Europe,
have
more
sex
than China.
with a 13-year-old girl and you're a grown man, you know that that's wrong because she
You're
has
giving her booze and pills.
Look. She was down with it. You're killing him with the pills and booze thing,
Why?
all right?
But it's true.
But there's no more than if she was 18 or 19 or 20.
Tarantino just compared doing drugs with a 20-year-old woman and a 13-year-old girl. They're just equals. I have a hard time seeing how you don't see this as rape. You're talking about like what, a 40-ish-year-old man and a 13-year-old girl that he is plying with drugs and alcohol. A girl that, by the way, has gone on the record of saying she said no, that Polanski kept saying, I'll take you home. She didn't want to do this. You got this 13-year-old girl who Polanski gave champagne to, a Quaalude to. She says she starts feeling disoriented, confused. She fakes an asthma attack to get out of the hot tub because apparently they were doing a photo shoot. Polanski in his book wrote, we weren't saying much. I could sense a certain erotic tension between us. But according to this girl's testimony before a grand jury, question, what did you do when he said, let's go into the other room? I was going, no, I think I better go home because I was afraid. So I just went and I sat down on the couch. What were you afraid of? Him. And so you went into the other room and sat down on the couch? Yes. What were you wearing at the time? My underwear and a towel. What happened when you sat down on the couch? He sat down beside me and asked me if I was okay. What did you say, if anything? I said no. What did he say? He goes, well, you'll be better. And I go, no, I won't. I have to go home. What happened then? He reached over and he kissed me. And I was telling him, no, keep away. But I was afraid of him because there was no one else there. She says, no, I have to go home. He says, soon. And then she describes Polanski's assault on her. So that was one of the reasons why Tarantino was in the news, and I'd love to know your thoughts there. And the other bit of Tarantino news is he has now responded to all the news that came out about Uma Thurman over the weekend and yesterday. In response to the New York Times piece, he said he knew it was happening. He said Uma and I talked about it. She wanted footage of the crash so she could get clarity. I found it and I was very happy to get it to Uma. Adding he planned to meet up with the person doing the Uma Thurman piece, but that never happened, and so he felt like he was taking most of the heat. He specifically says Uma didn't get the footage before because of Weinstein. Regarding pushing Uma Thurman to drive that car she didn't feel comfortable with, that she ended up crashing. He says, I didn't go barging into Uma's trailer screaming at her to get in the car. I can imagine maybe rolling my eyes. He does say though that he talked her into it and he regrets it, saying, I told her it would be okay. I told her the road was a straight line. I told her it would be safe and it wasn't. I was wrong. I didn't force her into the car. She got into it because she trusted me and she believed me. But then when it came time to do the scene, they changed the direction the car would be driving and he didn't go and check the road that way. I thought a straight road is a straight road and I didn't think I needed to run the road again to make sure there wasn't any difference going in the opposite direction. Again, that is one of the biggest regrets of my life. Now regarding the anger around the reporting that it was Tarantino that for a scene choked Uma Thurman, that it was Tarantino that spit in her face, he said, naturally I did it. Who else should do it? A grip? Regarding the choking, he said that was Uma Thurman's idea, and as far as the spitting in Uma Thurman's face, he said it's essentially like art direction. Saying, now I love Michael, he's a terrific actor, but I didn't trust him with this kind of intricate work of nailing this. So the idea is I'm doing it, I'm taking responsibility. Also, I'm the director, so I can kind of art direct this spit. I know where I want it to land, I'm right next to camera, so boom, I do it. And so that's where we are right now with Tarantino. He fires on two fronts, one seemingly bigger than the other to me. I personally think that if you're someone that is defending a grown-ass adult fucking children, let alone fucking a child that they then plied with booze and drugs. You're garbage, and I think you need to be thrown out. But that said, I will pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts around this situation? You agree, you disagree? Some of the people that disagree, I see, they say, you know, they're different cultures. I mean, that feels like a horrible argument, but still, I'd love to know your thoughts. But from that, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome, brought to you by the Stay Humble, Hustle Hard shirt. We just put out this new shirt and hoodie. It is by far my favorite because it keeps it simple and it keeps it true. Stay humble because no matter what you do in this world, no matter what you achieve in this world, you could lose it at any time, and hustle hard because so many other people want the same thing you want. A lot more people want it than work for it. So if you want to snag that new shirt or hoodie in the color of your choice, link to that down below. And also if you want to get any of our other designs, shop DeFranco.com. And the first bit of awesome, something actually I forgot to include yesterday, was the bad lip reading of the NFL. They just have a fantastic series over there. We've got Life Noggin talking about introverts versus extroverts, Olympic athletes answering Olympic questions via Twitter. We've got the Cinema Sins, Everything Wrong with Bright. And very quickly, I just had to mention that SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon Heavy rocket. It's considered the most powerful rocket in the world. They live streamed it to over 2 million people, and it was an amazing thing to watch. And I just mean all around, when they first had liftoff, when you saw the boosters come down and land back on the ground together, the crowd was going crazy, the music hit, all of a sudden, boom, there's Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster in space, a move that he said he literally just did because he thought it was fun. It just really felt like I was watching something special. So I highly recommend, if you didn't see it live, I'll link to it down below. Check it out. And if you want to see the full versions of everything I just shared, the secret link of the day, anything at all, links as always are in the description down below. Then the world's given us another story of another massive creator online in mainstream news, not for great reasons. And this story is about Kian Lawley. He's pretty big on YouTube. He's very large on Instagram, some other places. He was set to be in the upcoming movie The Hate You Give, but then there was a lot of controversy around him because this video went viral.
That's why we're all black, drinking purple Kool-Aid, eating Kentucky Fried Motherfucking Chicken.
Now, if you're wondering, did he actually say? Yeah, it seems like it. At least once, maybe twice. As far as when this happened, when this was filmed, it appears this is not new. It was filmed between 3 to 6 years ago. But still, as you would expect, there was a lot of people angry. There was tons of backlash, with many people pointing that Kian was set to star in the film The Hate You Give. The film wrapped production last fall. It's an adaptation of Angie Thomas's book of the same name. The story deals with racial issues and police brutality. The main character is a black teenage girl. Kian was cast as her boyfriend. But after the video resurfaced, many people said that his past actions made him unfit to play this role. In response to the backlash, we saw Angie Thomas tweet, "Yes, I've seen it. Yes, I'm side-eyeing the shit out of the person. No excuses. No, I won't say what it is until more is revealed. But yes, I saw it." We then saw Kian respond to the backlash, writing on Twitter, "If you don't learn from your mistakes, you can never grow as a person. I've learned a lot and I am grateful to have the power to change. I never want to be who I was yesterday. We're in a constant battle to become a better version of ourselves. Use your voice as your weapon." And after his post went up, we also saw Angie post several tweets, seemingly about all the hate she had been receiving from this controversy, writing, "Y'all are screenshotting me and coming at my friends without knowing the details of the situation. There is so much more that you don't know, and I'm honestly sad for you, but I'm unprofessional. Oh, only you knew half of what I've gone through because of this. Half of the tears that have been shed, the disappointment and heartbreak. Everything I've tweeted is out of sheer disappointment in someone I love. They knew, I know, that's all that matters. I've been hurt severely, but please, make me the bad guy. Please, call out black women and attack us. You have no clue what I'm dealing with." And following all of this, 20th Century Fox released this statement saying, "Due to controversy surrounding his past comments and behavior, Kian Lawley will no longer appear in The Hate You Give. The studio plans to recast the role of Chris and reshoot scenes as needed." And following this, Kian released a statement saying, "Words have power and can do damage. I own mine and I am sorry. I respect Fox's decision to recast this role for The Hate You Give as it is an important story, and it would not be appropriate for me to be involved considering the actions of my past. I understand the impact and I have grown and learned since then. From now on, I plan to use my voice for positive change." And actually, where I want to end this story, I mean, we talked about the Tarantino 13-year-old girl story. Now we have Kian here. Both of those were technically things in the past. Obviously, there are differences. With Tarantino, we're talking about the rape of a 13-year-old girl. Kian, we're talking about a horrible word. Kian was a teenager. Tarantino definitely wasn't. And as of recording this video, Kian has said he was sorry, that it was wrong, that he's trying to grow. He agrees with himself getting fired, and we don't have a statement from Tarantino yet. And so I guess the main question I'm trying to get out there is, when you look at things that people have said or done in the past, where is the line for where you will still hold it against them and where you will not? And understand, I am not making making a statement with that question. I am actually just genuinely interested. Then let's talk about the stock market, specifically the Dow Jones Industrial fell more than 1,000 points Monday, which was its biggest drop ever, asterisk, which we'll get to. We also saw European and Asian markets seemingly affected, but not as much. So what's up? How did we get here? Well, stocks have actually been rising for a few years now. And a major reason for this has been the strength and optimism in the US economy. Corporate profits have excelled. We've seen President Trump pushing for lower taxes, reduced regulation. We've also seen the lowest global interest rates since World War II. Interest rates change the rate at which banks borrow money. So if the rates are high, that means borrowing money is more expensive and depositing and selling off is more attractive. The idea was that if more people invested in the market, companies could invest more in their business and hire more workers, all of which made investors excited and the global economy started to grow. But obviously something happened with the market on Friday and Monday. Now the US Federal Reserve has raised rates for the past 2 years, so that's not necessarily the reason for the recent fall. What we're seeing though are some experts pointing to the more recent changes in the American job market. But the worry isn't stemming from a lack of jobs. Unemployment has actually fallen. It appears to actually be because wages may be increasing for American workers. Higher wages for American workers could mean inflation, which could mean the Federal Reserve would need to raise rates even more rapidly. But a big thing to note is, as of right now, this doesn't appear to be some end-of-day scenario despite whatever graphic package you may have seen on TV. The Dow at one point fell more than 1,000 points yesterday, which is the biggest point drop ever, but not really, and it's the percentage that matters more. While this was the largest drop, it was only a drop of 4.6%, right? So still the largest, the most meaningful drop we've seen in the Dow was 508 points in 1987, because that was a 22.6% crash. And what we're seeing with this drop is it just returns the market back to levels we saw in December. Now, does that mean everything's going to be okay? I don't know, I'm not an economist, but there are a few things that we can take away from this situation. One, there is no such thing as a sure thing. Two, we will have to wait and see if this is the beginning of some sort of crash or just some regular market correction. And three, I think the president is going to have to figure out for the long term how closely he wants to connect himself to the stock market. In that last part, I mean in general moving forward outside of this drop that we saw. Right, the market's going to fluctuate. It's not a roller coaster that never goes down. Even today, after we saw it going all over the place, the Dow Jones went up 2.33%. There's already been a decent amount of criticism of President Trump in his tweets and speeches taking a lot of credit for the stock market. Many of those who have been critical saying that he inherited this from Obama along with unemployment and several other things. He's taking credit for a trend. But on the other hand, you have people saying, you know, well, the market reacts in real time. When President Trump was elected, many people expected it would crash. It thrived. He's been president for a year now. He's pushed through economic change. He has had an impact. Personally, I think it's a little bit of both, but it will be very interesting over the coming weeks and the coming months to see what happens with the market and also how that affects Donald Trump and what he says about the stock market. And actually, since we did mention the president, there's some housekeeping to be done there with news. We had the House Intelligence Committee vote and approve on releasing the Democrats' memo. This, of course, meant to be the counter to the Nunes memo that then headed to the White House. As of right now, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly says he hasn't read it yet, but he will be briefed soon. So there was that. There was also continued negotiation regarding border security, the wall, and DACA. Regarding DACA, John Kelly said it is very unlikely that the president is going to extend the deadline for DACA, which is March 5th, adding Mr. Obama established the program and it was considered to be unconstitutional, not based on any law. So the extension, I'm not so sure this president has the authority to extend it. And because it seems like negotiations are not going exceptionally well, it looks like this Thursday we may be staring at another government shutdown. And I mean, this is something that is not shocking at all. Many who support the president feel like he is leaning over backwards saying, you know, we will take care of 1.8 million dreamers.
There are 690,000 official DACA registrants. And the president sent over what amounts to be 2.5 times that number to 1.8 million.
And the general mindset is he's not meeting them halfway, he's going above and beyond, so give him the wall. Whereas those who are still against him are still saying, no, you're essentially holding DACA and all of these people hostage, and your $25 billion for the wall is insanity. And the wall is also, of course, only part of it. There is the big chain migration, family reunification argument. And this is a point the president seems pretty locked down on, so much so that he said this.
If we don't change it, let's have a shutdown. We'll do a shutdown, and it's worth it for our country. I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of.
So once again, here we are. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But that said, that's where I'm going to end this. Of course, this is the Philip DeFranco Show. It's the story, it's my opinion, and now I want to hear from you, whether it be the last one, the first one, anything in between. Let me know in those comments down below. And that's actually where I'm going to end today's show. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I'm trying to do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. That way you make sure you don't miss these daily videos, which actually, if you did miss yesterday's show, you want to catch up, click or tap right there to watch that. Or if you want to watch the newest behind the scenes vlog, click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.